Suppose you are in a jungle you have never been before, and where no one else has ever visited. And you have no idea what
Right.
this jungle holds. Does it has predators like lions, or perhaps even more dangerous and strange creatures? In this scenario, what would you do? Would you light a big fire and start shouting? Or would you light a small fire just for your needs and explore this jungle silently? If you ask the same question to an expert who has spent time in wilderness, will say a small fire and silence is much better strategy, because you don't want to invite any hunters. For now, let's pause this jungle scenario and go back to 1950s, when in one summer night during lunch, a Nobel Prize winning physicist Enrico Fermi asked his colleagues a simple question: where is everyone? This was a straightforward question, but no one had the answer, and the room felt silent. In fact, even today, no one has any solid answer to this question. For this reason, this question is now called the Fermi Paradox. And this question was not about humans, but about aliens. Even if you think a little about this question, this is indeed a paradoxical and complex question. On one hand, this question of Enrico Fermi seems valid, because if we look at the observable universe, it is so big that there are 1 septillion stars, and 1 septillion is such an enormous figure that we can grasp it with this beautiful example from the famous astronomer Carl Sagan, who says there are as many oceans on Earth, and on these ocean shores there are as many grains of sand. Yet there are even more stars in the universe than all the grains of sand on all the shores of all the oceans on Earth. And almost every star has planets in its orbit. Among these planets, some are in Goldilocks zone. Goldilocks zone means a region like Earth where the temperature is neither too hot nor too cold, and where life is possible. Looking at this fact, Enrico Fermi's question suggests that how it is possible that life exists only on Earth, and that we humans are the only civilization living alone in this vast universe. But on the other hand, Enrico Fermi's same question presents a very different picture, because for the last 60 years, even though we have been searching scientifically for the proof of aliens, but we haven't found any scientific evidence. In 1960, American astrophysicist and astrobiologist started SETI. SETI means Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. And today, SETI has grown into a large institute, and its only job is to search for intelligent alien life. But from 1960 until now, we haven't found anything in the universe except silence, and scientists call this the Great Silence. Looking at these two contradicting facts, Enrico Fermi's question, although unsolved and still remains a mystery and a paradox, but still we need an answer. Therefore, there are number of possible solutions to this paradox, like the great filter hypothesis, zoo hypothesis, and simulation hypothesis. But today we are going to explore a solution that is weird and terrifying, and in some ways seems very real and accurate. And that is the dark forest hypothesis. As we paused the jungle scenario at the beginning of the video, let's go back to it, because it reflects the dark forest hypothesis perfectly. Meaning the universe is like an unknown jungle, about which we have no idea what kind of aliens live here, how advanced their technology is, and what kind of weapons they possess. Because of this fear of unknown, they do not make noise, meaning they do not send out signals in the universe. and they explore universe very carefully, and they never expose their location because they also know the fact that silence is the best strategy. If we look further, according to this hypothesis, all the aliens in the universe are like hunters. If one alien civilization encounters another, it has no other choice but to destroy the other, or else be prepared to be annihilated.
We are gonna die.
We are gonna die. You're gonna die. I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die.
Now the question to think about is, why is it that if one alien civilization spots another, the situation turns into kill or be killed? Well, the creator of this hypothesis, Liu Xixing, explains that in this huge universe, no alien civilization can ever be 100% sure about the intentions of another. Are they friendly or hostile and merciless? Because of that fear, civilizations tend to stay hidden. But if for some reasons they end up getting noticed, then survival becomes their top priority. And to survive, they have to eliminate the threat, meaning completely wipe out other civilizations. And how one can wipe out a civilization with minimum risk? Well, in this kind of scenario, the advantage of first strike is the biggest edge. In other words, if one alien civilization sees the planet of another, the most logical move would be to strike first without giving warning. But if you make the mistake of hesitating or giving them a chance, they might have weapons powerful enough to erase you from existence. Now, you might be thinking that in the universe there could also be such alien civilizations which are completely peaceful and have no violence in their nature and wouldn't even consider harming others. And maybe you are right. But even the peaceful aliens have no real choice but to strike first. Why? Because if they do not and the other side turns out to be hostile, they are basically sitting ducks, risking total destruction. So survival would force even a peaceful race to make the first move. That is why no alien civilization is truly peaceful. Everyone is like a hunter and no one wants to end up getting hunted.
Begun the Clone War.
Therefore, the supporters of Dark Forest hypothesis believe that the famous question of Enrico Fermi is not a mystery or a paradox at all. They think there are plenty of alien civilizations out there, but they remain silent intentionally and deliberately. So, in this brutal universe, what we humans are doing? We are basically making noise like kids shouting, "Hey, this is our planet, come and destroy us." Do you know, seeing this silence, the famous scientist Stephen Hawking said that this silence is a red flag and a warning for us. But unfortunately, it is too late for humans because we have been unintentionally sending radio signals into the universe since 1920s. To make things worse, like SETI, there is another program called METI, which stands for Messaging Extraterrestrial Intelligence. It is intentionally sending powerful signals to other solar systems. Many people have protested against it, arguing that decision to send such powerful signals should be made through mutual agreement and not just by few people who have the equipment. On top of that, we even sent a 20 trillion watt omnidirectional signal. This signal is so powerful, if alien civilization has receivers like SETI, they can pick up this signal from the other end of the Milky Way. Looking at all the facts, what do you think? Are we inviting our own death, or the Dark Forest hypothesis itself just wrong? And if the Dark Forest hypothesis is wrong, then where are all the aliens? Write your thoughts in the comments. making a 10-minute video and ensuring that all the information is accurate takes more than 15 days. So if you have learned something from this video, please consider subscribing. I am Saif Shalani. See you next time.